Hello, this is Clemmy Games and welcome to our first look at Warcube, a stylish action game developed by Haven Made with lead developer craigz, which was released into Steam Early Access in January 2017. For disclosure, I received this game for free. Please bear in mind that there are two games on Steam named Warcube, one with a space in between and the other without, so do check out the link in the description below for the right game. I first got wind of this game through Reddit, where the developer showed off an interesting animated GIF of the game, which got me interested. The early access launch was over the weekend, and I have to say, it is a pretty good game, although it does have some ways to go before it is ready for a full release. In the game, you play as the legendary Warcube, who has returned after 3,729 years and finds the old world overrun with bandits and enemies, and sets out to liberate towns and to regain territory. The main attraction here is the combat, which has a nice feature of slowing down time after killing an enemy, allowing you to aim and readjust and to chain combos together. This feature of slowing down time is also the source of the many great animated GIFs of the game floating around the internet, and the combat here is really fluid and skill based. This game cites Shadow of Mordor and Assassin's Creed as inspirations, and I can certainly see the comparisons to be made here. However, while chaining combos together is pretty fun, the system itself is a little simplistic and all the melee weapons do feel very similar, so I hope that this would be expanded upon in future updates. Next, we have a nice overworld map in the game, featuring many different locations, seemingly random events, and a tactical view which allows you to strategically plan your conquest or liberation of the map. The game has individual locations, such as a siege camp or a coast with grounded ships, and in each, your objective is to raise your flag over the control points in the area, where doing so with all of the points will result in you claiming the area for yourself. Naturally, each area is filled with enemies which hinder your progress, and there are off-the-path areas to explore for additional gold or loot. However, I have not yet found any use for the gold that I have accumulated, so we have to wait and see on the payoff. There are several issues here. For example, I ran into seemingly endless enemy spawns, and I could not figure out a way to stop them from spawning, meaning that there was almost always an overwhelming number of enemies on screen. While performance did not suffer, the large number of enemies was not all that fun to fight. Secondly, there doesn't really seem to be a reason to fight enemies since they gave neither XP nor loot when defeated. Also, you are able to claim areas even when enemies are not defeated. Thus, I found that the easiest way to complete a level is to simply run through the map while avoiding enemies and claiming areas. Enemy AI is also not the best, and I have often found myself leading large lines of enemies as they simply followed me wherever I went. The physics here do seem to be a little off as well, with your cube having a little too high a jump and some degree of floatiness. The tactical portion of the game does seem interesting, as the locations that you take over can contribute to your ability to tackle an enemy stronghold. From what I have seen, conquered areas can contribute troops and siege weapons to your assault on an enemy castle, and conquering these smaller areas first is a good idea both to bolster your ranks and to cut off enemy reinforcements. However, I am not too sure how this affects the main battle itself at the location, but having a tactical layer on top of the core combat is a welcomed addition. This does remind me a little of Shadow of Mordor, in which you have to take down the captains before getting to the warlord, and in a similar fashion, Warcube has you taking down enemy outposts before tackling the main stronghold. I also like the simple art and presentation of the game, showing that you do not need fancy graphics to create an action-adventure type game. The writing, narration, and the sense of humor in the game is also pretty good, especially in the opening sequence, which sees the narrator offering you a choice of being reborn into the world through three methods: lightning, a pillar of fire, or even an asteroid, which the narrator excitingly nudges you towards.
Now, we need to send you back into the world. I'm thinking the Old Kingdom's a good place to start. Now, it might look a little different than you remember. Things have changed. Now, how do you want to go back? Lightning? Pillar of fire? Oh, how about an asteroid? Okay then, let's make that happen. Now, you'll see me around, don't worry, no need to get all teary-eyed, it's not going to be another 3,000 years, or so I hope. Got my eye on you. I'm just happy I found you. Here we go!
The narration here also reminds me of the style used in Thomas Was Alone, but in its current state, I've only encountered this at the beginning of the game and hope to see more, whether it be through story cutscenes or otherwise. Finally, the game begins with a heartfelt message from the developer thanking you for trying out the game, as well as to bear in mind that several areas of the game are still under construction and to please bear with him while he works on the game. It is not often that indie games start off like this, but I do feel a genuine sense that craigz is doing his best in making Warcube the game that he wants it to be. The developer is also a character that pops up in the world, which I feel is a nice little fourth wall breaking kind of thing, as the in-game character indicates areas that are still under development. That being said, do assess for yourself on whether you would like to jump in right now or to wait for a more complete version of Warcube. While I do definitely see potential here, I would not make a decision based on hypotheticals, but do definitely keep an eye on this game. Anyway, that will do it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Leave a comment if you like. Thanks again, and I will see you in the next video.